Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an episode of Wagina's Wonderland. This is the first episode in my podcast series. I am joined here today with Damian Johnston.
What's up?
And Flack.
Yo.
Famous YouTuber. So today, this is kind of going to be... This is the first episode of the podcast, so this is going to be the foundation of all future episodes if you really think about it. So we got to make this one really good. We got to make sure that it's a great episode. So what were you telling us you wanted to talk about before this? Something about like Titanfall and Apex Legends?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So as of late, most people probably know in the past week, it was a few days ago now, it's been resolved as of, I think, Tuesday. And Titanfall has been hacked, or hackers have been restricting people access to Titanfall. Like, you could buy the game and you could launch it, but you can't connect to any of the servers, and it's an online only game, which means you can't play it.
Which one or two?
And this has been going on 1 and 2 on PC.
Okay, so all Titanfall games pretty much.
Basically, but it's mostly the first Titanfall that's been hit super hard.
Okay.
And this has been going on for 3 years, and Respawn. It's a really fun game. I do suggest if you like more of like Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3, like that EXO 3D movement style thing, you'll like Titanfall.
Then I won't.
But
I was so mad when everybody asked when Black Ops 3 came out to go old school, and then they went more into the future and completely ruined it.
I don't care what anybody says. Black Ops 3 movement was supreme. It was so good. Black Ops 3 was
Just
a great game.
Titanfall is better.
If you were to say that on an actual big podcast, you would get thousands of I'm talking thousands of comments on how you're wrong.
I don't care.
Okay,
Black Ops 3
be
Zombies,
honest.
Shadows of Evil is one of the best zombies campaigns of all time.
I will agree with you. That is great. Alongside of Origins.
The campaign was terrible. Zombies was good. Obviously, the Zombies was just good.
I said Zombies.
What do you mean?
I said Shadows of Evil, like
the
whole Shadows of Evil campaign. Kind of. Well, it's not really a campaign, but the whole Shadows of Evil story was just
like
supreme.
Easter egg thing.
Yeah, dude, using the fucking sword and the zombie shield and everything. Dude, the beast was awesome. Gobblegum, so good.
I've never actually completed it.
Dude, I gotta go to Horizon Drac.
I've only just recently got Black Ops 3, and it's dead on Xbox.
Yeah, it's really alive on PC because people use mods and modded maps. Like Black Ops 3 is kind of like the
community on
foundation.
PC is keeping it alive.
The foundation really good. Of what?
Black Ops 3 is the foundation of zombies modding. It's the most commonly modded zombies game. Has maps,
I know.
Mods.
Dude, it's because it has so much potential, and they also allowed it.
Yeah, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on PC. When it came out, you were allowed to create your own zombies maps.
Dude, you could play on a map.
I feel AAA studios should do that more. They should allow the community-made stuff for the game, like maybe mini DLC or just some weapons, skins, stuff like that. Like how Bethesda's doing it with the community mods on Skyrim and Fallout.
See, the problem with
that was done really well.
The problem with a community, with a company like a Treyarch or whoever the fuck you just said, they're not like Bethesda. See, Bethesda, it has 2 big games, really. Fallout and Skyrim. And, those 2 are on their way out anyway. So they can afford to do modding because that brings back some of the community, or a lot of the community. But with Treyarch, or whatever the fuck you were saying earlier, they can't really do that because then they'll lose money. Have you seen, I don't know if you've noticed, but modern Call of Duty games are kind of oversaturated with in-game purchasing and microtransactions.
Yeah.
And it's kind of getting stale. I think that it would be incredible if they added some sort of modding system like Skyrim and Fallout have, but they would lose so much money that it wouldn't even be worth it on their end.
Well, when you're talking about companies that own all these other ones like Activision, they're so fucking big that it doesn't matter. They make so much money anyways from all these other games. They could do this for the next couple games and be fine financially.
Yeah, and if they did do the modding thing or whatever, they would have so much respect from the community. Like that game would last for many, many, many years. Right?
Yeah.
But
Like,
see,
look at Fallout 4. People still play that game to this day because of how prevalent the modding community is.
yeah,
Like,
it's
actually, look
really
at
good.
all the Fallout games. Like, I still play New Vegas, but I have, like, so many mods on there, man. I have probably a couple hundred. And a bunch of them are small ones, like little bug fixes or, like, texture fixes, shit like that. Which makes the game run smoother, look better, and ultimately is a funner experience.
Yeah, for me personally, I prefer Skyrim over Fallout, but that's just because I prefer like fantasy over like apocalyptic survival games, and I just like it
I like
more
guns.
personally. Yeah, guns, are cool, but like at the same time, like the Skyrim modding community is fucking huge. It is
I know.
huge.
It's like I think 2 to 3
the s-
times as big as Fallout's.
the
It
s-
is insanely
The
massive.
Skyrim modding community is literally bigger than the normal vanilla Skyrim like community itself. It is huge.
I know.
It's insane. Like there are so many mods that boost the graphics and give you like more abilities and more like skill points to use. Like it's like it's the best way to experience the Skyrim titles in my opinion. And the only reason
Exactly.
that
Well,
it's
the Elder Scrolls titles.
I think we can all agree that Skyrim and Fallout would not nearly last as long as they have if it weren't for Bethesda's choice to allow like community mods into the games.
Yeah, especially on
Fallout 76.
console.
Fallout 76 doesn't have mods.
Especially on console. Yeah, and that's another
Fallout
that's one of the
76
huge
is dying.
That's a huge reason why Fallout 76 was a complete failure. Like a complete
Well,
disaster.
You know why it also was a complete failure?
What the
Go for
community
it.
wanted was Fallout 4, but multiplayer. What they gave us was
Shitty
a
Fallout.
shitty knockoff
No.
of what Fallout is supposed to be.
Not a choice.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever was to be able to be in that one world, but with just your friends.
yeah.
They gave you only multiplayer, and it completely ruined the game. It ruined the story of the game. It ruined everything.
I was never a big Fallout fan, but I'm pretty sure what the community wanted was like a Far Cry 5 setup where you could play your own story but with your friends. Not a fucking shitty knockoff of a Battle Royale game. Nobody wanted that. But unfortunately, that's
Far
what we
Cry
got.
5 did multiplayer very well.
Yes. Oh my god, they handled it beautifully, like brilliantly. It was so good. It still is.
It's a little bit
playing
confusing when it
Far Cry
comes
right
to
now.
like some plot points because it's meant to be for one person, but when you're playing co-op, there's 2 of you, you know.
Damien, you would know a lot more about the crash of Fallout 76 and why it was a complete failure. If you want to discuss that, then like I'll let you take the lead.
Who, me?
Yeah.
See, the main reason was because everybody wanted, well, exactly what we said, a Far Cry 5 multiplayer, basically. And they didn't give us that.
Like
They
a
gave
Far Cry 5 multiplayer for like Fallout 4.
crappy guns, crappy monsters.
Terrible
the ammo-
balancing from what I've heard.
It costs a fortune to
Oh
buy.
my god, dude, it was pay to win at the beginning, dude.
You thank God now they added the vending machines, so that really helps.
What are the vending
'Cause-
machines?
Anything
It's,
you sell, and that tremendously helped. I used to have no money in that game. Now I have decent, but I'm still in the beginning of the game.
yeah.
I
same.
heard that whenever you went to like buy Fallout 76, like the disc version, they gave you a fucking cardboard like disc, and it was like, here, use this code to buy it digitally. Is that true?
I got the let me see.
I'm pretty sure it was
I
just
have it on my desk. I had the special edition that came with like a bunch of atoms and shit. And like the world map.
the basic version.
And I got an actual disc with that though.
I pre-ordered that for $100, deleted it the next day after playing it. Yeah, I played it for an entire day. In Fallout 4, when I played it for a whole day, I almost completed the game.
Yeah.
I love Fallout.
That game, I didn't even get past the first 2 missions. So I kind of gave up on it. Because It's too hard. The guns you get at the beginning of the game do no damage. If you get a good gun, it doesn't last forever because of the durability.
I heard that Fallout 76 was too like handholdy. No, not handholdy, but it gave you no freedom. It really restricted you. Like it fucking held your hand on this journey. Like you have to
it
go
really
here.
does feel like it.
Like you have to go here because of here and because of this and this, but it refuses to acknowledge the player's sense of exploration and like want to quest.
Well, the
exactly
was that you couldn't go out and do something you wanted without running into a beast or a horde of Scorched. And Scorched were stupid. Those things are so dumb. It's like just a lie.
I haven't made it far enough to fight Scorched.
They're at the beginning of the game.
Oh, I haven't done the quest to fight a Scorched. I haven't killed one yet.
Really? They're not that big. They're just... Yeah. It's like a ghoul from
like
Fallout.
Level 32.
It's like a ghoul...
Actually, no, I'm way higher than that. I think I'm almost level 50.
Okay. Not to burst your guys' bubble, but Damien, hurry up and wrap up on like why Fallout 6 or Fallout 76 was a failure, because we completely got off topic of what we were originally talking about, which was, you know, the Titanfall situation.
We were talking about like movies and shit.
Saying that the game's ruined now. For
it's
everybody,
so disappointing.
Yeah. But yeah, on Titanfall's part, that it's really fucked how that's going on. I understand why the hackers did like that to Apex to actually get what's going on with Titanfall out there, because Respawn and EA is selling a game that you literally can't play. It's retarded.
And they want attention to their game.
Tell you that. Yeah. And they don't tell you, hey, if you buy this game, you're not going to be able to play it because we're stupid and can't fucking fix the problem. Even though we have the time and funds to do it, we just don't.
Yeah, it sounds like a really shitty situation all around.
It isn't super easy.
Yeah.
My friend's dad used to be a game developer. And he said when somebody hacks it, you have to completely go in and change a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to completely rewrite your anti-hacker software. Like, that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's not quick. So, but everybody complains that...
But when you have a team of like 30 people, it doesn't take that long.
I was just about to make that point. See, he's an indie developer, so it'd probably take him 1 to 2 weeks to do it. We're talking about fucking huge mega corporations.
Like studios that have like ginormous some teams working on these games.
Yeah, we're talking
like,
EA.
How many people worked on Fallout 4? Like maybe 300 people worked on Fallout 4. Yeah, that ranges everywhere from the developers to the people making the music.
Yeah, like it's just we have huge corporations like working on this game, like EA, the company that's been awarded the all-time worst game company like 5 years in a row now. All right. And this behavior is just like it's actually expected from them. If they would have went in and fixed the problem immediately, that would have fucking blown everyone away and really would have given it would have given EA good PR. But no, they're gonna follow their track pattern and just ruin it.
Or like, I feel like we're gonna completely ignore this entire fan base playing this game like 10 years after it fucking came out.
I feel like that we can acknowledge that like the Titanfall thing, right? What they're doing is a pretty big thing, you know, hacking into Apex. But it is nowhere near as big to get EA like to actually pay attention to this. Like they need years and years of like backlash like they did with Battlefront 2 and how shitty that game was when it first launched with its microtransactions.
2 is actually, you know, it's a pretty good name now. But the old players that played it back when it was garbage refused to come back to it. So it, like, completely lost its entire player base.
Yeah, they're so greedy.
One of those games just got money hungry, and they're toast now. Yeah.
That's why seeing a game that has no microtransaction and, is completely free of... I would really like to finish my point. it's really refreshing to see like a game that's where you have a lot of freedom and there's no microtransactions, no pay to win. It's just a good, honest, fun game, and the game is not there to make money off of you and suck your fucking wallet dry like Dracula himself. It's there for you to have fun, and that's becoming rarer and rarer nowadays, unfortunately. But when you do get those certain games, it is a masterpiece, like we saw with Cuphead. You remember when Cuphead came out? Mm-hmm. Everybody loved that game because it was just a good, honest game. All right, sorry,
that was
Damien.
just
Continue.
there for you to provide some entertainment.
But EA, with Money Hungry, you forgot to bring up the fact that FIFA is the same game, different number.
Oh my god! Did they just add more sweat particles and say it's a better game?
What do you mean FIFA? I thought it was like it's like all the games: FIFA, the MLB games, 2K, like the basketball ones.
Madden,
Isn't all of them?
all the fucking sports
Madden.
games.
2K changed a little bit.
FIFA's really bad about it though. Like FIFA's literally like it's the exact same game every year, but with like maybe some different people
like,
and more
change
sweat.
The menu.
Yeah, maybe a different UI, some different people, and that's it.
That is terrible.
It's like a new game,
and everybody falls for it every year.
It's garbage.
FIFA's a little.
Yeah, and that's what
FIFA's a little bit more on that side, the worst side, because it's the same game. Versus 2K.
Yeah, literally, it's like they copy and paste that shit.
Add some little thing to it, like the free roam ability. I know 2K had that, like the older ones had it, but they kind of expanded it to where it worked a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for the like line of games we have coming out this year because the Battlefield has always been pretty decent.
Okay.
Like it's always been a playable game. They have like a dedicated.
Let me interrupt 1 second. I'm about to get bullied by both of you right now. I've never played a single Battlefield game in my entire life, so I'm not gonna understand.
Oh, that's fine.
The hype or anything.
Okay.
That is a good game.
Battlefield
I've heard
is
that,
like
it's
imagine
terrible,
Call of Duty if it was way more realistic. Okay, if you like where you could shoot people just a couple of times and they actually die, then yeah, you'll like Battlefield because it's way more realistic.
Yeah, I don't like to have to shoot at somebody for like fucking 5 seconds before they die.
Bullet sponges walking around the fucking map and shit. If you shoot someone enough times, they will die. You don't have to like fucking take an LMG and just hold on a point on someone.
Yeah,
you could. There's literally like people riding around with fucking pistols. Just one-tapping people. It's amazing.
Well, the game was just built better. Like, it really was.
Yeah. Because unlike Call of Duty, like, I understand Call of Duty, the franchise has several studios interchanging which one's making it, but Battlefield at least takes time and effort into their games. Like, Call of Duty, they usually have only 1 or 2 years to develop their game, and that doesn't lead to a perfectly polished product.
Stop interrupting me, dickhead.
Sorry, you were interrupting me.
Whatever.
This is going to turn into a screaming match.
No, it won't.
I'm not
violent enough.
I was just making a point that I keep getting interrupted.
Yeah, okay, but to be fair, like...
It's fine, it's a problem we all have. We'll get better with as the podcast continues.
Keep interrupting each other.
Down the line of its life. Yeah, that's exactly what we're fucking doing.
Yeah, like someone will be talking, and then like someone will just start right over them, just like, yeah, I think it's going on. They'll be like, stop interrupting me. It's like, motherfucker, I was talking first.
Exactly. Are we just gonna have a moment of silence for our fallen members?
So currently in the state that we all reside in, we don't have a mask mandate anymore. So like kids going to school don't have to wear masks if they want to, and like we're actually going to school, not do the online school. And I'm fucking retarded, and I thought that was everybody, but it turns out that kids are still doing the online schooling. Now, let's talk about that for a second. I don't know if I'm like the only one here who has this opinion, but the online schooling fucking sucked. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was my grades fell through when that happened, just because I wasn't able to actually get that one-on-one time with the teacher and like talk over my fucking problems. It's like as soon as the Zoom meeting ended, I couldn't talk to them. They wouldn't answer their fucking emails or anything.
Yeah, and my teacher always had the excuse, well, it's full. No, it's not. I know damn well thing's not full.
What thing? Her email or the meeting?
Email. I know damn well that email is not full. It's online school. If you're able to check everybody's email, like, all you gotta do is go through it. I guarantee you teachers don't get that many emails. My teacher always complained that he did.
And there's still...
That's the way you have it set up. You wouldn't have that many emails if you set it up properly.
Yeah, there's a little bar at the top too that allows you to search. So if you have a student that tells you, "I'm going to send you an email later," and you're like, "Oh, I don't see that email," you get to look for it.
If I was going to email a teacher, I'd tell them in class, "I'm going to email you after class. Make sure to check it."
Exactly.
They don't check it. They never do. They never will.
No, I've only had one teacher that was good at checking their emails.
I had a teacher. I failed my class, not math, biology, because my teacher waited till the last day to grade all of my assignments, and I had 4 assignments missing, and it failed me.
I'm fucking bitch, bruh.
How big were the assignments?
Honestly, the school system is really fucked.
Didn't even know were a thing because I was absent for class for a little while because I went out of town, and I told him this. So I never knew that there were 2 big tests, which already would drop. Each of them would drop my grade like a whole letter if I failed.
Oh, fuck, that sucks.
That's terrible. I don't know how good your guys' fellow students were in the Zoom meetings. Like, I don't know if you had literal delinquents. I don't know if you had good boy, goody two shoes. People always being quiet.
There was a few delinquents in my biology class.
Can I finish? That'd be wonderful. But my Zoom meetings were a complete clusterfuck. Like, they were terrible. People screaming at shit, cameras pointing at ceilings. People just fucking making ASMR videos. There was this one kid who literally hosted a fucking cooking show in the Zoom meeting. Like, she'd be like, "All right, turn to page 23," and he'd be like, "Welcome back to Daniel's Cooking. Now, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna get some garlic out, and you're just gonna dice that up into little pieces. You're gonna get out some eggs." And he would just sit there, and she'd be like, "Daniel, can you please mute your microphone?" He's like, "Well, then how is the audience gonna hear me?" He's like, "Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's not the time right now to be making breakfast." And he'd be like,
Really?
"Ma'am, it's 9 o'clock." And she'd be like, yeah, but it's still, Daniel, you gotta. And he'd just be like, anyway. There was this one kid, while he was doing that, she's like,
Sorry.
there was this one kid, his name was Carlos. He was like, I'm not gonna say the teacher's name, but he was like, "Shut up, Mrs. Horseshoe, I'm trying to fucking make breakfast right now. I need his instruction." It was so funny. But I felt so bad for her.
I would definitely.
Dude, yeah.
I'm trying to make an omelet. Don't tell him to mute his mic.
Because teachers, they're really just trying to do their jobs, man. And,
Yeah.
I respect that. My teacher, when she would get on me for being a disruption in class, I fully understood it. But then I'd have the teacher when I asked somebody in a class for, like, a fucking pencil.
Yeah, those teachers are fucking
when
assholes.
Everybody's talking. I asked my friend for a pencil because I would give him one all the time, and I didn't have one that day. And she flipped her shit. Like, completely had a mental breakdown for me for asking for a pencil.
Those teachers are terrible. I'm not sure if I told you. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this, but let me tell it on the podcast. So one time in actual school, after online school ended, we had to wear masks to school. I had one of those ones that hang down long, like a little bandana, but it had the ear hooks. Right, so I'm walking in the hallway, and I have this fat history teacher, right? And he comes out of the door, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on, Mr. I don't know, let's call him fucking Mr. Abraham Lincoln," right? So I'm like, "What's going on, Mr. Abraham Lincoln? How you doing?" He's like, "Hey, what's going on, Ben? I noticed you can't wear that mask." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "It doesn't have the ear holes, and I have long hair, so it covers my ears." And I was like, "Actually, it does." So I moved my hair out of the way, and he's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And I was like, "Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm being safe. I got everything good." He's like, "I'm not your bro. Don't call me bro. You need to leave. Go to the office." I was like, "What do you really?" And he's like, "Yeah, you need to go right now." And he's like, "If you don't go, I'm gonna call security on you." And I was like, "All right." So I go
Nah,
to
that's what. Oh,
so I,
go ahead.
so I go to the office and I sit down and they're like, "What did you do again, Ben?" Because I'm a bit of a troublemaker, and I'm like, "You'll never guess. It was something terrible." And they're like, "Oh my god, what?" And I was like, "I called Mr. Abraham Lincoln, bro." And they're like, "Yeah, funny. What'd you actually do?" I'm like, "No, I'm dead serious. That's what I did." And they're like, "There's no way." And I was like, "Yeah." And the lady, like the detention lady, she was like, "Well, which teacher was it?" And I was like, "I just said it was Mr. Abraham Lincoln." She's like, "Oh, that makes sense." And there's a bunch of other faculty members in there. And there's a security guard that I was really cool with, and they all just started piling on this guy and just making fun of the teacher. And I was like, "Oh my god." Yeah, they all started. They're like, "Yeah, that guy's an asshole." I was like, "Oh my god,
That's fucking great.
that was
PE
great."
teacher was.
Even the vice principal came in to like yell at me, and they all told him like what happened and who did it, and then he was like, that makes sense. And I didn't get like
no
in
one
trouble for
likes
it.
that guy.
It was hilarious.
No one fucking likes that guy. Apparently.
He's been working at the school for like 18 years. It's like, God, dude, if you've been working at a school for more than
Jeez.
20 years, you need to get a life. You need to get stopped.
Oh, I had a teacher that my not football teacher, what's it called? PE teacher. And I had some troubles with my first one because I didn't like to run when somebody else didn't want to run. So if we were like loud in the locker room, we'd have to run. So, I'd always run and stuff because it didn't really bother me that bad. But when it was somebody else, because if we'd get, like, if we ran the lap in under a minute, we didn't have to run it again. So everybody does it except one kid. One fat Teletubby of a kid that can't run it. And so he makes it run again. I run it again. And the third time when he did it, I was like, dude, there's no way you're making me rerun this lap. Like, no way.
I'm not doing it.
Somebody else is too fucking fat to run themselves. You are nuts. And
Like,
13 other kids did the same thing I did. They're like, we're not running. Hell no. And he got on my ass about it. He's like, well, you should be running. I'm like, why? He's like, because you need it. I'm like, dude, I ain't that fucking big. I'm like, dude, look at you. You were going to be in the MLB, and now look at you. Your fucking temperament.
exactly, man.
He looks like Pinhead from Spider-Man.
Like,
I'm stuck.
dude. And then I got another PE teacher for the next semester, and I walk in there to get my lock, and the other guy's like, are we going to have any issues with you this semester? I'm like, dude, if you have a fucking issue with me, you take it up with me personally, not in front of all the other kids. And he got pissed. Like, he got big mad. Because, quite frankly, in PE, I don't care anymore. I'm not scared of the PE teacher.
Exactly, man.
There's
Like,
this-
dude, the average janitor is more built than a PE teacher.
Dude, the janitor at my school is fucking jacked.
Gets more
Like,
exercise than PE
I know,
teacher.
right? Why are the janitors always fucking jacked?
He could crack me in half, dude. Like, my PE teacher's a fat.
Problem.
Told me he could run the lap in under a minute, which, honestly, I told him too. I'd like to see you run it, and he got offended. But, I mean, you can't tell me I can't run it when you're fat. Like, dude, he weighs like at least 200 pounds more than me. Saying he could run the lap.
Oh my god.
Like, dude, I want to see that. I want to see you run that fucking.
Back in the day, my dad got like bullied by a PE teacher for, doing something terrible to him. Do you want to know what my dad did to his PE teacher?
What?
His name was Mr. King, right? And he, I don't know, I guess like my dad was like the king of tetherball back in the day, and like, he was kind of like he was kind of showing off or whatever, and then the PE teacher was like, yeah, I'm not gonna say his name, but hey, Ben's dad, you need to stop showing off. You act like you're the best at tetherball. And I guess my dad was like, I am. And so the PE teacher was like, I guess I'm better than you. And So my dad challenged the PE teacher to a game of tetherball, and well, long story short, my dad fucking wiped the floor with the PE teacher in front of everybody in the whole class. And well, from that point on, he didn't get treated so good in that class.
Oh yeah,
I would assume so. Damn, he just fucking straight disrespect on that teacher, bro.
I told my dad about the thing with the running, and my dad's like, "You better go tell that fucking coach next time you see him." And he says something, I can run that. All right, well, you better go fucking run it because I'll watch. I'll sit here, watch you run it. I'll time it, and if you don't run it, you go run it 4 more times. And he's like, "You better say that next time he says that to you." I'm like,
Damon, you better say that.
You have to now.
say that to him if he ever says that to you again. I'm like, well,
You cut out. Repeat what you said.
he says, well, you better go say that to him next time. But he says that shit to you.
Yeah, you better go say it.
He was fucking serious because, dude, my dad hates coaches, PE coaches. Like, he can't stand them because my dad has always been super athletic. So when somebody tells him that they can't do something, or somebody else can do something that they clearly can't, he gets pissed off about it. Like saying
Yeah.
a guy that weighs 550 pounds, like my coach, saying he can run a goddamn marathon is impossible.
It's a complete logical fallacy.
There's no way
Exactly.
to run that. Like, no chance, dude.
Now, I don't know if you guys will be able to relate to this, but why do teachers think they're so much better than the students? Like, why do they act like the cock of the walk? Like they're, they don't treat the students with respect, but they expect the students to respect them in return.
Exactly.
How does that
dude.
work?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I think
like,
those are
the
just people
scenario
that
there.
had an ego and like to pick on children, so they became teachers.
Oh, dude, have you ever done this to a teacher and they tell you can't, like the bell doesn't dismiss you? I do.
No,
Fuck
I've
off,
never
that's
had
why
one
it's
of those
there.
teachers.
Well, I'm sure you have, so.
No, I really haven't ever had one of those teachers. But if I did, I would literally still get up and walk out.
Okay, so
Like-
I have teachers. I walked in late, and I was feeling like an asshole that day.
I already know where this is going, and you're a fucking
So-
G.
He told me, he's like, so why are you late? I'm like, well, he's like, well, the bell rang, so you're late. I'm like, well, I thought the bell didn't dismiss you. And he's like, that's not how that works. I'm like, it clearly was yesterday. You dead ass said the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do. So I thought upon myself for me to dismiss myself from eating my food. And
Yeah, the bell doesn't decide when I arrive. I do.
I went to the office.
Exactly.
Dude, I went to the office, told the lady at the office that, and she started fucking laughing. She's like, I mean, you're right, but you're not.
She probably wanted to like let you off scot-free so bad, but like she didn't want to put her job in jeopardy.
She gave me
Exactly.
because the basic is 1 hour, and she's like, I'm just gonna give you a 30-minute detention because that shit was smart.
So all of those kind of teachers are like pretty bad, but I think what I think is like the worst type of teacher, the lazy ones. Like you know what I'm talking about, like the ones that like they'll have you sit in their class for like 2 fucking hours or like 1 hour depending on what your school schedule is, right? And they'll just be like, all right, open up page 10 and just fill out the whole worksheet and that's it. And once you're done, you can't go on your phones. You have to just sit and like put your head down, and then they go on their fucking phone and like go on Facebook or some shit for like the whole period. And it's just really like lazy and just terrible. Like, and they don't seem to understand that like a good teacher completely changes your perspective of a subject, and you can really understand it better.
Exactly.
And they shouldn't even have this job if they're not going to take it seriously, because we are the future of this like world, of this planet, and they don't seem to care. And honestly, if I were like the dictator of the world or something, lazy teachers would not exist, because that would be unacceptable. That would be one of the highest like crimes you could commit in the workplace. Is just not taking your job seriously, especially
Exactly.
as some sort of educator. It's honestly mind-blowing some of these
Yeah.
people's work
Really.
ethic and tactics.
Yeah, especially as being basically teaching the future of the country, of the world, not just a country.
Yeah. You think that high school and elementary teachers are bad? You should see what the fucking college professors are doing.
From my
I'm not going
understanding,
to
I was
college. No.
well. From my understanding, I thought that college professors were actually pretty good because they get paid better than normal teachers. Am I wrong?
they're
Am I mistaken?
There's no middle ground when it comes to college professors. They're either a good teacher or one of those teachers that is part of the Antifa and fucking bike locks someone in the head.
What?
Dude,
Yeah, that happened.
What do you
There
mean?
was during the riots, there was an Antifa member that had a bike lock and a sock, and he fucking whammed someone over the top of the head really fucking hard,
Oh,
and it turned out to be a professor.
oh no! How do you fit a fucking
Yeah.
bike lock into a sock?
no, you know
It
one of
was,
those little
well,
locks that you attach the
It was
wire
one of those
to?
chain
Oh,
ones.
oh, okay, yeah, no, I get it.
It was like one of those tube socks, like a really long sock.
One time, I literally had a teacher come in. Right, this was in like, shit, what was it? I don't know, like 8th grade, maybe 9th grade. I don't know, but it was a substitute teacher, and to be fair, substitute, whatever. She literally came in and handed out 3 fucking 5-page packets. Just plopped them all down on our desks. And then she said, get to work. And when you finish, you cannot have your phones. And then she's like, in fact, you know what? Just give me all of them. Just bring up all of your phones, everybody. And
Nope,
so
I don't give my phone to a teacher.
yeah, I don't do that
No,
either.
fuck that.
Anyway, so
I didn't bring my phone today.
most of the people put their phones up or whatever, right? And after she was done, she literally pulled out a fucking laptop, took out some like Bose headphones, slapped them on her head, and fucking put on a VPN and just started watching Netflix in the middle of the class.
Oh, see, you know what? That's when I go ask to use the bathroom and then go straight to the office and snitch on that bitch. I don't care what I'm gonna get in trouble for. I'm snitching on that teacher.
Funny you mention that. Someone actually
Fuck
did come
that,
in, like
man.
a faculty member or whatever, like to ask to borrow something, but she had the door locked. So when she like knocked on the door or whatever, she put everything away, and then like pulled up like the power schools or something like that. And then she's like, someone unlocked the door for her, and then she's like, hi, how are you doing? And completely
Snitching.
played it off.
Completely snitching on.
That's a fucking shitty teacher right there.
See, if a teacher does that, then that note means that they don't care about a student. All they care about is the money that they're getting, even though they're not getting any money. You're making minimum
Teachers
wages
don't make that much.
each.
Yeah, I understand you don't
honest-
make much as a teacher, but damn,
If-
like, come on, take your.
I mean,
t-
if
job
you're gonna
seriously.
make that much money, at least take your profession seriously. Because, I hate it when teachers say, well, we don't get paid that much. Then don't be a teacher, dude.
Yeah, why'd you
like,
go through the
stop-
school?
Stop complaining that you're a teacher when you clearly chose that profession. You have to go to college for 7 years minimum to be a teacher. Or is it 6? One of the two.
I think it's
you
5.
chose to
Here,
do
I'll
that.
look it up.
You chose to do that. That wasn't anybody's decision but yours. You could have went to medical school and be making
Yeah.
$200K a year, but no, you decided to be a teacher. Don't fucking blame that on anybody else but yourself. Well, we need more
Precisely.
teachers. Okay, well, you didn't have to be the one person making so much of a difference.
So I just looked it
Like
up.
Lazy
So-
teachers are
so
the
I just-
epitome.
I just looked it up. It's 4 years of college, so you need to have a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
So my dad was in the Forest Service for 6 years. And you know how much they get paid?
How much?
Jack shit.
Why? That's
Granted,
an
they
important
only work for the
profession.
summer, but if he didn't, that's one of those professions that really, there's not a lot of people in the Forest Service. That is really, you work like a slave in the Forest Service.
We sound like a bunch of communists talking about like job wages and how they need to be paid higher.
Yeah.
It's true.
Sorry, yeah, it is true to a certain extent. I think teachers should get paid more, but they also shouldn't complain about their wages. Like, you chose this profession, motherfucker. You knew what you were getting yourself into, so stop playing the victim and teach us something.
Exactly, man.
That's what I'm feeling. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Damien. I just really wanted to make that communism joke. Keep going.
Yeah. But my dad got paid $32,000 in 6 months. So he got paid that much in 6 months. But he does more work in a day than most people do in a week.
Yeah, Forest Service, that's a hard-ass job. A lot of manual labor. You gotta have a lot of good communication skills, social skills, making sure everything's going like where it needs to be. It's a hard job.
Making sure you don't die, making sure the whole forest doesn't burn down.
Yeah, that's hard.
Like, there was he was on a fire, and the fire got less than a mile away from a whole subdivision of houses. Like, you know how much money that would put you in if they didn't stop that? Millions.
That's millions and millions of dollars.
Millions. So, them working their ass off all through the night and through the next day, not getting any sleep, and he's getting paid $32,000 in 6 months. You know, most people doing that much work would be getting paid a fuckload. Like,
exactly, man.
That stuff would have been $200,000 in 6 months for that work.
I wouldn't say that much, but
oh yeah, dude.
Dude, that's
compared to some of the work some people do that get paid a lot. Yeah.
Listen, some lawyers and like lawyers and shit make like 170K a year. You cannot make that much money in like what was it, 3 months, 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
Okay, in a half a year. That's fucking crazy. I think that like it should definitely not be like what was it?
160.
You said 30,000 or 60,000? How much was it?
He makes 32,000. No, he made 27,000.
Okay, it should definitely be more than that. I think it should be like 70,000 and maybe like the highest like 120,000 maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely not 200,000 and definitely not 27,000.
I really over exaggerated on that. I kind of just took my personal thing to that.
Yeah. So, all right, I have a question for you, Fleck. All right, what is the worst teacher you've ever had? Like, what's the story? Enlighten me.
Okay, so I actually haven't had that many experiences when it comes to like horrible teachers. Thank God. I've had a few like really dastardly substitutes, and I've had a few like really good substitutes, but I haven't like had a like, you know, a horrible teacher. I think the weirdest thing that a teacher's ever done, or like the worst thing, was I would, as you probably know, sleep in class a lot. And that wouldn't, you know, piss off the teacher. And one day I was sleeping in class, and my friend next to me also happened to fall asleep too. And she took a picture of us. Apparently, several pictures. I didn't know about that because she didn't say anything. I didn't hear anything from the school or anything. But one of the kids that I was talking to, like the next day, told me that. I was like, "What? What the fuck? That is the weirdest shit." That is the fucking that is the worst thing that's ever happened. I haven't had any actual like bad teachers.
That was so tame that like
I
was about to fall asleep like you did in class.
Well, like I said, I don't have any like bad stories.
Okay, have you ever had like any? Oh, here's a good one. Have you ever experienced a Karen in person?
Oh God, yes.
Tell me.
All right, I have a good story for this one. So, do you know how I skate, right?
No, I didn't know you skated.
Okay, so yeah, I skate. I thought you knew I skate.
No, I had no fucking clue.
Skate. And I don't skate around my area because you know how it is. It's just fucking dirt roads.
Yes.
So I usually take my board to school, and then I'll skate around Anthem with my friends. And one day we ended up skating down to that Fry's with the by the Freddy's.
Yeah.
And we were just hanging out front, and my friend was trying to practice his ollies. And this fucking absolute Karen just says absolutely. We didn't hear anything from her. I'm going to tell you that. So she just fucking comes up and shoves my friend on the ground with like absolute force. And this is a big woman. She's like a fucking maybe 200-pound woman. And so my
Well, hang on,
friend,
wait,
he just falls
like fat 200 pounds or like buff 200
at
pounds?
200
Oh,
pounds.
okay, sorry.
Fat
Continue.
200 pounds. She was like the only meal she's eaten for the past 25 years is burger.
Roasted duck.
Foie gras.
She eats.
That's it.
She makes omelets with fucking ostrich eggs.
Oh god. Okay, back to the story. So my friend's on the ground. He like recoils from this. Is like, what the fuck, man? And she starts screaming at him. Is like, you scared? You can't skate here. And she keeps
Oh my
screaming
god,
at
hang
him
on.
for like
Dude, you cut
in
out
5
so
minutes
hard.
apparently.
Wait, hang on. You cut out so hard
Fuck.
when you were trying to do her impression. It was so fucking robotic. Can you like start back from he was on the ground?
Okay, so he was on the ground and he recoiled from her absolute mass, just fucking shoving him. And he's like, what the fuck? And then she just starts screaming at him. He's like, you can't skate here. And she does that for apparently like fucking 5 minutes. And then I come out of the fries because I was inside trying to get some drinks for us. And I come out to her just screaming at my friend. And my friend looking like he's about to fucking knock her shit out. So I run up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then she starts screaming at me. She goes to shove me, but I'm small, so I just kind of move out of the way. And then she stumbles a bit, continues to scream at us. And my friend is just like, can you please just fuck off? And then the like security there comes and starts dealing with her. And me and my other friend walk away while the one that got shoved was talking to the security with her.
She probably made up some
It was
bullshit
fucking.
she probably made some bullshit like
Probably,
they were huffing
man.
Jankum and destroying the property and they need to be stopped right
Yeah,
now.
they weren't even like doing anything. Apparently, they were just. My friend was eating a bag of Cheetos, and the other one was just practicing his ollies while I was grabbing a few drinks for us. And I come out to fucking what looks like about to be a fist fight. I was like, "What the fuck?"
You got fucking
It was-
fat
oh,
She-Hulk
God.
comes out. You know the
Yeah,
you know
dude.
the
When I mean, her tits were down to her fucking kneecaps, bro. I didn't know if it was actually her tits or just her fat. It was unsettling.
Oh my
A
god.
human shouldn't be formed that way.
So she was pretty much just a female version of the Blob from X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool story, Alex. But Damien, I would like to ask you the same question. Have you ever encountered a Karen in person?
Plenty.
No way, really?
Yep.
Dude, I've only ever encountered one Karen once in my entire life. Go ahead and tell your story first.
Okay. They're all basically the same. It involves masks and a store.
Knowing you, of course it involves masks. You're probably the fucking Karen.
Dude, I never wear masks. Ever.
So you didn't have... It's not like the typical Karen where they're like, they don't want to wear their mask. They're like saying that like the
No,
Chinese...
they're yelling at me because I'm
putting a
not
microchip in
wearing
it. Yeah. Okay, so it's a reverse Karen.
Yes.
Alright, go for it.
Okay, so I was just chilling out, doing my thing in the store, like shopping. Because I went to go to the store to get... What was it? It was more batteries. My brother wanted them. I was at my friend's house, and I was going to my dad's. So I walked in the store without a mask because I don't fucking wear masks ever. I never, and I won't. And what happened is I walked past somebody without it on, and they threw a conniption fit, like always, and yelled at me for not having it. I need to wear it. I'm a disgrace to society because I'm not wearing my mask.
Did she actually say you're a disgrace to society?
Yeah, and it even gets better.
That's fucking hilarious.
So I said, okay, well, I don't give about your opinion, so fuck you and fuck off. So, and just continue my day. I wasn't letting that shit get to me. And shit me not, I get to the register, and she's there at the other register, and she says, you better not, charge him out or whatever. because he doesn't have his mask on, and he said "fuck you" to me. And the lady at the thank God the cashier was a G. She was like, "Dude, I don't care. The mandate's over. Nobody needs to wear them anymore." I was like, "Thank you."
Nice.
And just long story short, she fucking got the bad end of the stick.
She got the short end of the stick on that one.
Short end. Yeah, like, dude, if you can't like mind your own goddamn business in a store after the mandate's gone, which means you don't have to wear them. At least where we live, you don't. There's no thing saying I have to wear my mask. Nor did any really where we live. Nobody really ever wore them either. Like, depending where you went, but most like if you go out in the reservation or whatever, nobody there is wearing them. I'm done.
All right, so
I was only until one.
the only
They're all the
Karen's
same.
the only Karen story that I've ever had is in the area that I live in, like near an area where I lived in, there was this fair, right? And so I was at this fair, right? And well, I was in the line for some shaved ice because, you know, I wanted me some shaved ice. Really like blue raspberry. It was really good. Anyway, so I was in line, and or I wasn't in line. I just pulled up to get in line, and so there's this tree, like away from the line, but kind of near it. And then there's the stand, and then there's the actual line. So I get in the line, and this fucking super turbo giant fucking Snorlax from Pokemon Honey Boo Boo's mom looking ass fat blonde Karen comes right up behind me, taps me on the shoulder, and then fucking grabs my shoulder, turns me around, and she's like, excuse me, we were in line first, so you need to go to the back of the line. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even know you were in lines, considering you're like 10 feet away. And she's like, yeah, well, we are, okay. I was like, listen, I don't give a fuck how old you are not gonna give me that attitude. Now, how about you go back to your fucking cave fortress and, like, just go and eat some more fucking potato chips, and I'm gonna get my shaved ice, alright? You really don't look like you need the extra sugar. So after I said this, she like went back to like where she was, and she brought her husband over, and her husband was like, I don't know, how do I describe this? He was like hiding in the closet like turbo steroid beefcake, except he wasn't actually muscular. He was really fat, and he was clearly from Florida. You can just tell. And he comes up, he's like, listen, you little fucking cocksucker, you need to get out of this line because we were here first. I'm like, all right, I want you to tell me how you were in line when the place you guys are sitting at is fucking 20 feet away from the actual line. I want you to tell me that right now. I want you to give me a scientific explanation on how that's feasibly possible.
Only hypothesis, right? Not like explain.
Yeah, and so after the commotion started getting like louder and louder, the actual guy who was running the stand was like, hey, leave the kid alone, you weren't in line, get the fuck out of here. And after they did that, they went over to like scream in the other dude's face who was running it, talking about how they demand shaved ice and like they pay taxes and so they deserve it. I don't know. After that, eventually a sheriff came and escorted them off of the like premises, like out of the fair area, and it was really cool.
Imagine getting kicked out of a fair over fucking shaved ice. That's when you know you're fat as shit. Is when you get kicked out of a fair because of
like
food.
Okay. So the lady, I'm not even exaggerating, the lady was so fucking fat that she actually needed to go get weighted, like measured, like her weight at a fucking car repair shop. They needed to use like an industrial like scale to measure her weight.
Oh, dude, I've seen that where they use like the dog veterinarian ones. The huge platform that can measure like 1,000 pounds or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones at the heart attack drill.
Yeah, one of those. Like, dude, you cannot be serious. Like, you know, I'm big. I will not ever deny that. But, you know, I'm not like some of those people that are like, if you call me fat, okay.
You're not noticeably fat.
Yeah, I'm not noticeably fat. So, it doesn't bother me. Like, dude, I look like I'm 200 pounds, but I weigh 240. Like, that fucking amazes me. I was like, when I weighed myself today, I'm like, dude, there's no way in hell I weigh that much. Because just a
Somewhere
couple.
like
Because I'll go work out and do jobs outside and stuff, and I'll lose weight really fast.
yeah, it's because you're young.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Fast
It's also my
metabolism.
metabolism is not that bad anymore like it used to be.
Bodies.
Well, gentlemen, I think it was a pretty good podcast. I think we should end it here, though. I think we're a little bit over our hour that we should have gone. We had some really good discussions. So I just want to thank you for joining me, Damian Johnston. And what was your YouTube channel name again?
For me?
No. I'm talking to, Alex.
Alex.
Flagstick.
What?
Flagstick.
Okay. Now, before we end the show here, I'm gonna give you like 15 seconds each to plug whatever you want. Damien, go first.
Yeah, just go check out my Instagram at Damien_too_cool_to_smooch.
Alex.
Follow me on Instagram at Peas and Lemons.
All right, and you guys can go follow my YouTube channel, Wagina. Instagram is also that. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.